Welcome. In front of me I have the OnePlus 15 and today I'll be going over unboxing along with a quick look at the device, its specifications and just my general opinions about the device itself. Okay, so let's just get straight into this. Oh, actually I don't need a knife, nice. So in here we get a Type-C to Type-A charging cable, paperwork, and literally nothing else. Great. Next we got the phone. There we go. That looks like an iPhone at the first glance. They really took that idea of copying some other company like really too hard. And kind of goes further if you flip it over to the back. This camera layout is kind of similar. And I do want to point out one thing. This phone, you might confuse it with other devices like Oppo or Vivo. They both have about the same freaking phone that they have released almost at the same time, though Oppo and Vivo have a different processor. Specifically, Oppo Find X9 Pro has the same design at the back, just different color and different logo. And even in the display section, they are all about the same. In terms of the Pro versions, the Oppo and the Vivo X300 Pro and the Oppo Find X9 Pro have literally the same display. And that display is an LTPO AMOLED display, 1 billion colors, 165 Hz refresh rate, Dolby Vision certified, HDR10+ certified, HDR Vivid, and peak brightness of 1800 nits, which looks to be actually lower than the two other devices for some reason. In any case, it boasts a 90.8% screen to body ratio, 450 pixels per inch, putting this device at a resolution of 1272 by 2772 pixels, covered with a corner Gorilla Glass Victus 2. So the display right here is basically like top of the top. It's pretty good. They didn't skimp out on any kind of certifications, but neither did Vivo or Oppo. And the reason I'm pointing out these two companies is because it's technically the same brand. It's all owned by the same company, and they decided to produce 3 e-ways at the same time instead of just one. Now, maybe not calling them e-ways is just kind of maybe mean. These phones aren't bad. They're actually pretty good for how much, for the price that you can get them. But like literally making the same phone 3 freaking times and selling it as different brands. Now that seems a little bit kind of not too good for the ecosystem. Like, why? Literally, why? So, anyway, there is a little bit of a difference between the other devices, and the difference would be the OS, or the skin over the Android OS that they're using. So this one is using the Oxygen one, right? Or no, never mind, it's using ColorOS. And in any case, it's different than what the Vivo or an Oppo have. And this one is a little bit less Apple-esque like. The Vivo and Oppo had more kind of glass-looking like icons. Oh no, never mind, it has the same shit here. Okay, never mind, it's the same garbage. So even though they're calling it differently, it's literally the same. So it turns out I lied. There is different icon look though, but other than that, this seems to be the same. This definitely is the same. And this, if you look at it, looks like glass from Apple. So anyway, yeah, copying Apple seems to be a strong suit right here. Like influencing is understatement. Anyway, let's flip it over to the back where we have our triple camera setup. So all of the cameras are 50 megapixels, wide, periscope, telephoto, and ultra wide. And you can do 8K at 30, 4K up to 120 frames, 1080p up to 240 frames, and we also have the ability to record at Dolby Vision LUT. So, Dolby Vision along with RAW. No, not RAW. That's not what I'm looking for. What was the naming for these cameras? When you video, does it say here? For God's sakes, what was it? Log. There we go. Log is what I'm looking for, the word. So you can record that log, and they have their own LUT onto it. Now, the selfie right here is, well, if I can actually show this better. There we go. Now it's visible. So the selfie right here is a 32 megapixel wide sensor that does 4K 60 as well, and 1080p 60. The cameras right here obviously are good, but there's one little thing that you might notice. There is no more Hasselblad branding. So OnePlus ditched the paying for Hasselblad brand right here at this point, considering I guess they want to make bigger profit on it. It was to be expected, to be honest. It only served to give them the sound and just a specific kind of color look to photos, which other than that, it's just that. So yeah, no more Hasselblad branding right here, and no more that iconic sound when you were taking photos with the previous OnePluses. Now, if we move over to the internals, so the device is pretty chunky. It does have some heft to it. I'm not gonna try to hide that away. This does have like solid weight to it. And in here we have a whopping 7,300 mAh battery that can be charged at moronically high speeds at 120 watts wired and 50 watts wirelessly. Shit, this device can charge faster without a cable than any Samsung phone can with a cable. Great. Now, additionally, we have 12 gigabytes of RAM with 256 gigabytes of storage as a lowest end of this device. But you can get it with 1 terabyte of storage, which is more than you probably will ever need, and 16 gigabytes of RAM. All options using UFS 4.1 storage type. So, obviously fast storage. Though there is no expandable storage right here, we just have dual SIM card support, as you can see, and that's it. So if you need more than the 256 that you can get at the lowest end, you will need to splurge out more for the higher end version of it. And OnePlus did the scummy bullshit right here by basically with storage also. Oh no, never mind, sorry, I take that back. They didn't actually give you the more RAM, more storage. So you can get half a terabyte with 12 gigs of RAM. So that's good. Because sometimes people just might not want to have 16 gigs of RAM that you will definitely need to pay premium on while increasing storage. So you actually can get still the base entry RAM while having more storage. But the 1 terabyte only comes with 16. So there we go. Now, apart from the storage and RAM, the device is being powered by the newest and most powerful processor, being the Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5. If you're wondering what happened with all the other generations, 1 through 4, from 8 Elite, yeah, I'm wondering too, considering something like the S25 here came with the 8 Elite, there was no Gen, and then we have next one is Gen 5. Now, if I'm correct, they just decided to rebrand it from Snapdragon 8. You had 8 Gen, like, what is it, 3, I think? Then you had 8 Elite, which would have technically been 8 Gen 5. And now you have 8 Elite Gen 5. So they just added Elite to the branding now, and they're following from just the 8. If I'm correct. But if we take it that 8 Elite is its own thing, then we are missing 4 other generations in reality. Because we have the 8 Elite, no gens, and then we have Gen 5. Cool. Anyway, I guess giga corporations are kind of bad at counting. It seems to be a very prominent trend. So anyway, the processor right here is basically top of the line, the fastest processor. And I don't know if even Apple isn't slower than this with their own phone processor that they have, the A17 or 18 that they have right now, or even higher. I can't remember. But the newest iPhones, obviously, typically before, Apple Silicon was the fastest. I don't know if this is still true with the Gen 5 right here. Now, other than that, if we take a look at the build quality, we have glass back, we have aluminum frame, and we have under display fingerprint sensor. We have power button, volume markers above that. We have our microphone along with a little vents for the speaker right here, and basically a pseudo kind of port for the earpiece right here to give you a better, fuller sound when listening to music through speakers normally. Then we have our something that I don't like, this Plasky. Oh wow, they're calling it Plasky. So basically every company has their own stupid shit take on this. This is a plus key. We have essential key. We have the Apple's whatever key they have. And yeah, it's moronic because OnePlus has been copying Apple. Apple decided to ditch the slider. Well, OnePlus does too. And I can tell you I'd much rather prefer to have a slider than this bullshit key right here. It's maybe have more functions because I can program it to do some things, but I personally prefer the slider. It was much nicer to have the ability to, for instance, mute or silent your device with a slider, physical one. It just felt much nicer. It was something that I personally liked. But no, we have to differentiate ourselves by basically copying someone else and being literally the carbon copy of some other company. Just because they're popular doesn't mean you need to do the same. So, yeah, no more slider. Kind of disappointed. So, I think I went almost through everything. Oh, there, at the bottom, we have the tray, charging port, and speaker grills along with mics. And as you can probably tell, no headphone jack anywhere. Though at this point, that is expected. So, in general, it's a very good device for what it costs. It's a normal price for this phone, which is quite surprising at this point, because most companies nowadays try to charge you $1,100 or more for their flagship devices. But OnePlus here, actually, they want to point out, this is $15. I wonder if they will release a Pro and Ultra. If they will, you can be sure as shit that this device won't cost $1,000. It's going to be $1,200 or more. But this one here is basically a flagship in itself. There is nothing really that I can say that it would need more. It has everything that you'd expect at a highest end of the device. You have a very good battery, being also, I want to give them props, being the new type, the carbon silicon one. That's why we have so much of it. 7.3 thousand milliamps is more than any other phones that are being sold in America have. So OnePlus is basically just smashing competition like Samsung and every other brand there with this insane battery cell right here. And that's just because they decided not to completely try to shove you in the from behind with this, garbage old type of battery, and instead give you the silicon carbon. So that's pretty good. And if you don't know about it, silicon carbon batteries are basically allowing manufacturers to have the same physical size battery in the phone, while that physical size holds more charge. So the same battery before, same size that would have been in this device, would have held most likely around 5,000. Now it's 7.3. So it's much bigger, giving you also much longer battery life, or allowing the manufacturer to push the phone further in terms of performance. But honestly, I would say that giving you better battery life is probably what they should be doing. I don't know how long this, wait, I should know. Huh? Wait. Are you kidding me? What the shit? Interesting. So it looks like OnePlus is breaking the law in Europe. They don't have energy rating for their phone. Just kind of curious. It's literally mandated by law here, so that's kind of odd. But in any case, whichever it is, if it's performance or battery, it would have been much better to have longer battery by not trying to push the processor to its absolute limit just to have high scores on benchmarks. And the reason for that logic is these phones, these processors in here are already much faster than you will ever need your phone to be. This is almost competing with laptops in terms of performance, both CPU and GPU. These phones are insanely fast, and it's kind of weird that you don't really have perspective of how fast these phones actually are, but yeah, they are stupid fast, more than you will ever need for a phone. And we've been at this point for quite some time, so at this point it's just a reason for you not to know, because it sells the phones better. There is no need to have faster devices than this. Gaming on these devices is basically on par with laptops with dedicated GPUs. I mean, for God's sakes, the Steam Frame, a VR headset, VR is a little bit more intensive in performance, is using the outdated processor, like several generations back, to what the phones have. And I think several or just one generation. I think it's using either 8 Elite or even further back. So in any case, devices like that can literally play normal games on there. Something like the Steam Deck, which is in itself a computer, uses a much lower performance processor than what we have right here and what we had in flagship phones for a while. So these phones are absolutely stupid fast, and if you don't really care for that speed, like, you won't really see much of a difference between, for instance, 8 Elite, like this one, 8 Elite Gen 5, or even the generation before that. They're all going to be, in terms of, if you subtract gaming, you probably won't even see a difference between a 2-year-old mid-range processor in reality. To a day-to-day usage, if you don't have them literally side by side, you won't be able to tell the difference. And that is kind of what manufacturers have been doing, just pumping out the same phone over and over, just giving you the newer processor. Other than that, this phone at least does have some improvements. So this phone literally throws everything at it, at a wall, and see basically what sticks. We have every certification that you want. We have the best display. We have the best battery. We have one of the best charging speeds, wired and wireless. So yeah, it tries to literally do everything that it possibly can for the price, and I have to commend OnePlus, Oppo and Vivo also for doing that. These phones are basically not holding back anymore, which this phone might be one and done, because once you get a phone like that, you probably won't be looking to upgrade it anytime soon. It offers everything that you will need or want. So there is less incentive for you to buy the next phone if it's just going to be an incremental upgrade in speed, which is already uselessly fast, I would say. Any kind of upgrades, like adding you again Dolby Vision or Dolby Vision 2, because we need a sequel to Seeing now, obviously won't really matter here. Any kind of other ratings, this phone has it all. There is nothing that they can do with the new phone other than increase its performance. And when the performance is already one of the best, and you get this device, it's gonna last you for a decent amount of time, which there is no actual mention of how long it's going to be supported. It is coming with Android 16. I presume most likely 2 years, maybe 3, the typical. It could be more. It's OnePlus, but it doesn't. GSM Arena doesn't mention it. So in any case, if you're looking for a stupidly powerful flagship device that offers literally everything that you'd ever want or don't even know that you want, this phone basically offers it. Now, if you want, you can also check out the Vivo, which is the Vivo X300 and 300 Pro. Pro will be the same size as this one. X300 will be a smaller version, actually similar to the Samsung right here. And other brand Oppo also offers the Find X9 Pro, and all of these devices are about the same, with Oppo having a kind of mid-size. So Oppo has the Find X9 Nano Pro, which is a little bit smaller, but not as small as, for instance, this one would be, like the Vivo X300. Now, they're all the same kind of parent company. Their phones are all the same, with the only difference is the Pro versions of all these devices having the certifications for Dolby Vision and well, better cameras, as the non-Pro versions have some cameras cut down a little bit. So yeah, you can't go wrong with either one of those. Oh, and also I should probably mention, OnePlus is actually the only phone that uses the new Snapdragon. The other ones, the Vivo and Oppo, don't use even Snapdragons. So they both, I believe, use Dimensities, if I remember correctly. So this one will be the only one that is actually like the stupidly fastest phone on the market. And yeah, it is a good phone. Now, if you already have a good phone, should you upgrade to this one just because the new one is out? I would say probably not. Not much has changed. It's still an Android. It's still a slab of glass that you're going to be massaging for most of your day. It still charges. It still has a battery. Still takes photos. It still does basically the same thing as the previous phone did. So if you have one before that, keep it. There's no need to upgrade to this one. There is not much you will get from it by picking up the newer one. You get, I guess, the Dolby Vision with recording and viewing, but that is such a useless thing, really. It's nice that it's there, but if you already have a phone but it doesn't have it, don't worry, you're not missing much. You most likely have HDR support anyway. So Dolby Vision is basically a different HDR that isn't open source to everyone. So in reality, there's no need to pick up this phone if you have still a great functioning phone already. Previous one, or maybe even the one before that, they still will feel probably very similar to that, and you really won't be able to tell that much of a difference. The only difference, I think, between like the 2 generations behind of OnePlus's phones is they still used curved display. This one is completely flat. So we have a flat display right here compared to the other OnePluses. And yeah, that's about as far as the differences go. So anyway, I hope you found this very helpful. And if you did, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and thanks for watching.